Hi, everybody. Here's the story of how I went on a date with a 75-year-old man at the La Brea Tar Pits just a couple weeks ago. Now, a bit of backstory. I go swimming at the Park La Brea pool pretty often, go to Paw Swim Club, and this old guy, I guess, lives at the pool or something because I always run into him when I'm there, even though I don't go at the same time every day, which is a bit strange. Now, I didn't know his name at the time of our adventure, but I have since been informed that it is Barry. And Barry's pretty cool. Every time he sees me, he gives me these chocolate pieces because the inside of the wrappers have these quotes on them from different states, and he's always trying to get me one from Missouri. But it's kind of a mystery gamble, and we never know what it'll be. I think the problem is no one from Missouri has ever said anything memorable before, so I'm never going to get one. But I like chocolate, so that's okay. And the only thing I knew about Barry was that his daughter lives in Colorado and that if he were a member of Congress, he'd probably take my rights away. Don't let those kind eyes fool you. Anyway, Barry's recommending different things that I should do in the city, and I mentioned that I want to check out the tar pits, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. And he says we should go when we're done swimming, and I thought he was joking, and that was the end of it. So I go to the locker room, and I spend a pretty generous amount of time in there. And when I get out, Barry's just waiting for me, and he's like, "Are you ready to go to the tar pits?" Then, since I don't know how to set boundaries with people, I followed him across the street, and we entered the tar pits. The first thing we saw were those spiky things that prevent cars from going in the wrong direction. And he turns to me and he's like, "Good thing we're not cars, right?" And I'm like, haha, yeah. So then we walk up this hill to get a view of the big plant atrium thingy that's in the middle. And he points out that it's more efficient to walk up hills backwards. So, like Kate Bush, we're running up that hill, but in reverse. And we get to the top and he starts talking about how his dad grew up in the Great Depression. And I didn't really know how to respond to that, so I just didn't. Then we finally arrive at the actual pits of tar. And I wish I had the same technology as the Spy Kids 40 movie so you can experience what it was like. Because let me tell you, it smelled like absolute ass. But I'm brave, so I stuck around. Further on, I got to see a newly erected tribute to Cocaine Bear, a tree I didn't climb. I said hi to these cuties over here. Was reminded of my childhood. Then I realized camels and goats are two completely different animals, and I was devastated. But here's another tree I didn't climb, a new phobia I developed, a rock that reminded me of the Garden of the Gods I visited with my grandparents in Colorado. That's also where Barry's daughter lives, shout out. Featuring a sick ass lens flare, by the way, in this amazing photo I took. I just hope my real grandpa doesn't feel threatened by this guy. Anyways, I was disappointed that the pit was closed, but I got to brush up on my Spanish, so Duel the Owl took me off his hit list. Then we decided to go to the actual museum, and they told me tickets are $7.50 for students. But I didn't really want to pay $7.50 for a ticket, so I thought this was the end of my journey. But then Barry said it was on him, and we persevered. I didn't take any pictures inside the museum, though, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Or don't, I don't really care. After the museum, Barry starts talking to me about how Democrats are ruining the city, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. So I lie and tell him I have to go to class, and then, like the Journey song, we head our separate ways. Last I saw him, he was heading back to the pool to watch people swim and give out candy to children. Later that night, when I told the story to my parents, they thought it was funny. My sister congratulated me on finally going on a date. My friend reminded me that I could have been kidnapped, and my therapist chastised me and said not to risk my safety for the bit. But I lived to tell the story. And the worst thing that happened was I got some mud on my Crocs. Also, now I know Barry's name, so he's not allowed to kidnap me. That's how it works. Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember to always go on adventures with strange elderly people. You'll be fine. Probably.